God say vengeance is his,
Yes.
he mean it.
Yeah.
Like it's really his. And sometimes it's just hard for us to get out of our own way.
Yes, because when we're angry in that moment, we want the revenge. We have to see it. We have to experience it. We want to see that person hurt the way we are hurt, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what God is calling us to do when you're on this walk. He's like, no, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have laws here. Well, you'll reap what you sow.
Yeah.
I have laws. It'll work out the way it's supposed to work out. Let me handle that. The only thing I'm asking you to do is to forgive.
Welcome back into our home for episode 23 of the Carey Podcast.
Yes.
We are your hosts. I'm Donovan Carey, and this is my beautiful wife, Tiara Carey.
Hey, guys.
And today we're going through Genesis 34.
So if this is your first time, we would love to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back.
Yo.
Just to give like a little description of what we're doing here, we are reading the Bible from the beginning to end. And we basically study separately, and then we come together right here on this couch and we discuss it and share our thoughts. Most times we have completely different perspectives.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't even know how he gets certain things and vice versa.
Absolutely.
But I love it though. I love it. It just shows it's just not black and white.
Yeah.
It's not black and white. You can gather so many lessons from the Bible, and it just shows that God is really not in a box. So, and I think that's why we see so many arguments.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Why you see so
community.
Much on YouTube, they're just going at each other's throats sometimes, which we obviously don't agree with. You have to do everything with grace, but there is so much that is up to interpretation here.
No, seriously.
And I think that's intentional. I think that's a part of God's main plan, because when you think about it, this is why, and we spoke about this in the past, but this is why you can read a chapter sometimes and it could feel like it's so specific to whatever you're going through at the moment. Because if everything was so clear and so black and white, it would be harder to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's interesting because also if you read it again later in life, it may apply to something completely different that you're going through. Yeah. So like you said, I do agree that it is intentional. I love it, and we definitely welcome you as well to, read the Bible, study it for yourself. Not just read it, but actually study it. Try to figure out what it is that God is trying to tell us in his word, and share your thoughts. Share what you have learned.
Leave a comment. Let us know. We love to hear the different perspectives.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
them TikTokers, boy.
Oh yeah, the TikTok is intense. It's intense. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I
just encourage you, if you're gonna tell us that we wrong, at least watch the full episode.
Yeah.
At least get the full context of what we talk about. It's all in it. It's all a part of it.
It is.
It's all a part of it.
But
yeah, God bless them.
That's it. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
So moving forward.
Yeah. So what did you think about the chapter?
Yes. So I thought it was very interesting. We're seeing so many different sins all in one chapter here.
I guess I didn't think about it that way, but there is a lot of sinning going on in this chapter.
A lot of sinning going on. Yeah. And one thing I can say is God was silent the whole entire time.
God didn't say a word.
He didn't say a word.
I literally noticed that. I was like, yo, God just going, all right.
He just sat back and let it play out.
Yeah, let it play out. Because y'all acting like y'all don't want me here, I ain't going to be there.
Yeah, that part. That part right there. Yeah. So what about you? What are your thoughts?
I love this chapter. I thought, and I loved it for a different reason, just because, and I think it's kind of the reason I'm really starting to like some of the stories that we're reading, is the complexity of it, the gray of it. Like, you're really reading it, well, I can't speak for you, but when I'm reading it, it's like, I know for a fact, all right, this is not right, right? In according to the word.
Yes.
But then the human side of me is like, but I understand it. I get it.
Yeah, because, at least the old tier will be right along with them.
It's definitely a different type of experience when you read in these morally gray scenarios, right? And when I say morally gray, I mean in our human flesh, because according to God, it's not that gray. It's actually pretty black and white. But for us and the things we deal with and what is considered protection versus what's considered vengeance was one of those things for me, which was like, it is one of those, there's a thin line sometimes. It was just complex and it was fun to read because you wouldn't expect that so much from the Bible based on, when you go to church and stuff, they make everything kind of sometimes seem a little more distinct. But, as we know, when you live life, things don't always fit in black or white. Sometimes life gets very gray. And the way we make decisions from that, we should be following the scripture. And that's why it's important that we do read the scripture so that we even know,
what's the blueprint here?
What's the blueprint? And, that was another thing that really came out. They didn't have a scripture at this time either, which is like, okay, one of those big themes that I'm sure we're going to talk about, but of this episode is vengeance. And I'm like, but technically they didn't have a scripture to go by. So if they're not praying and in constant commune with God, and if God ain't say nothing to them, they kind of just going based on their own, their own dealings. So, all right. I don't want to reveal too much about the chapter.
So we can get into it.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and get into it. So just kind of like where we left off in the last chapter, we know that Jacob and his family, they settled in Shechem and he purchased land there.
Yeah.
So he actually purchased land from Hamor, which is the ruler of that land. Jacob buying this land here wasn't entirely the best decision because we will see that eventually things will go south between them and the Shechemites. So
now, before we even get into that, one of the things I know we touched on last episode, so we talked about Genesis 32, and God told him to return to the land of his kin. And I remember when we talked about it, it was like, all right, he's headed back into the land of Canaan. But remember, I was trying to say, I think God told him to go to Bethel.
So this is my thing. I do know, like, most people think he was being partially obedient.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that I guess God told him to go to Bethel. But when we actually look at the text in Genesis 31:13, and I'm going to read the NLT version, he says, I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel, the place where you anointed the pillar of stone and made your vow to me. Now get ready and leave this country and return to your land of your birth. To me, and if Jacob is anything like me, that was not very straightforward. I do believe God was giving him hints because he was saying, I am the God that appeared in Bethel.
Yeah.
Where you anointed that pillar of stone, hint, hint. Like maybe that was God's way of saying, hey, return there.
Yeah, return back there.
But again, and I'm just going to give Jacob grace here because not every time when we hear things from
just
God.
Like, this is all the land, is all related.
Yeah, I personally, like when I read it, I didn't even think Bethel. I was thinking, hey, he just needed to make it to the land of Canaan.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Or the land of his father, or at least Beersheba. Like I did not think God was talking about Bethel at that time. We don't see that until the next chapter where God actually tells him to go to Bethel.
In 35?
In 35.
See, 35. But what's funny is I actually thought so when I read it in real time.
But that's because your Bible actually say the call back to Bethel.
That's
does. Why.
It
like
does.
It just straight it gives you the answer. But
it does.
Mine didn't say that. So
that's true. That's what I was trying to bring up last time. I'm like, no, I think he was supposed to go back to...
He was, but I feel like God just wasn't that straightforward. Like, hey, Jacob, just like he was in 35. And I think God knew, and that's why he finally was like, all right, let me just tell him straight up, because he clearly didn't get the message the first time.
He's messing this thing up.
Yes.
But I think it's also interesting because he went and bought land too. So he was planning on staying.
And I don't think he was supposed to do that. Because ain't nobody tell him to buy no land. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is, I'm going to give him some grace here
because you would have done the same thing.
I didn't catch the hint either, but the hints were there.
How many times did God tell Tiara, go here, and she over there around the corner where she's not supposed to be? That's what that's telling me.
I was in the proximity, but I didn't know you meant actually go there. I thought you meant there. But, you know, he got the picture later, right? You know,
well,
and maybe God...
I ain't get there yet, but yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We'll get there. But I'm just saying, like, right now in this moment, if he knew that God told him to go to Bethel, then yes, he was being partially obedient. But if he really didn't catch the hint that that's where God was telling him to go, then I don't know.
See, I don't know. I feel like he might have known.
You think he knew?
I do. And I only say that because we see later in this chapter he's not fully obedient. Well, he's not fully living in the way God would want him to live. So because of that is why I feel like he was just being partially obedient. This is Jacob we talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's still Jacob.
And we are human.
Yeah.
If I'm being fair, right? We are all human. We could point out the flaws. I'm pretty sure if he could dissect my life, he'd be looking at me like, you talk about me, exactly. Right? So
I'm just going to show y'all a quick little map that I created. Y'all don't judge it. It's a little bootleg. But just so y'all can get an idea, I mean, you tell us your thoughts. Like, do you think Jacob was being disobedient by going to Shechem? Because we talked about it kind of briefly. It's not really in the episode. We had to cut it because we didn't want to make y'all too confused.
Yeah. We actually went back and forth for a while.
We did.
But it led to more confusion than clarity.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think it's just because we didn't get here yet and we hadn't moved on yet.
Yeah. So just to show y'all this map, you'll see Shechem. I'm sorry, not Shechem. You'll see Succoth is where he started off. Well, not technically. He started off in Haran.
Yeah.
Then he made his way to Succoth. Then eventually he crossed the Jordan River and went to Shechem, which is about 20 miles north of Bethel. Was he trying to go through Shechem to make it to Bethel?
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked like he could have possibly made his way straight to Bethel. But I don't really know like the routes that they had to take to make their way through the
we don't know what the terrain looked like. We don't know if the route, like you said, maybe he had to go to a city, maybe there was no other city in between.
Yeah.
We truly don't know, right?
Now, one thing I will say is maybe he was passing through Shechem. Shechem is known for being a fertile land. So maybe he saw with his eyes, very much like Lot.
Yeah.
When Lot looked up, he saw the land was fertile and ended up going to a godless city.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jacob did the same thing because in his mind, he probably like, oh, my livestock can thrive here.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense because he bought land.
Exactly.
Right? So like we just were talking about, why would he buy land there?
Right.
But it would make sense if he saw the land or if he knew Shechem, okay, I got money now. Because remember, he left, he didn't have nothing. So I got money now. I'm trying to, God already promised me this land.
Right.
I got to start buying it. Because we see that with everybody. They start to get a little piece of it, right? Abraham bought a little bit. When Sarah died, Isaac started building up the wells. And so he started to have water rights. And now you have Jacob, who's coming back and trying to buy some land, some of that promised land as well.
Right.
So, I mean, I like that point. I think we both could meet in the middle there.
Yes.
And say, it was a stop on the way.
Yes. He saw it was fertile.
For fertile land, yeah.
He saw it was fertile. He's probably thinking, okay, we can thrive here.
Yeah.
And that's how we
didn't consult God at all.
No. Nope. So here we are.
Here we are.
So starting off, it mentions that Jacob's daughter, Dinah,
Is it Dinah or Dinah?
I heard Dinah. Okay. I said Dinah before, but when I was listening to the Bible, because sometimes I actually listen to the scripture and they pronounce it Dinah. So I don't know. It could be Dinah. We may never know here. But I'm going to say Dinah because that's what it said in the Bible.
Yeah, that's Jacob's daughter.
Yes. And Leah's daughter.
Yeah, Jacob and Leah's daughter.
Yes. So she went out into the town of Shechem because she just wanted to mingle with some of the other women that were there. And Hamor's son, whose name happened to be Shechem as well, he happens to see Dinah by herself, no protection, and he sees her and he rapes her.
Yeah, very dark.
Very dark here. And we'll see later, God makes this sin punishable by death in Deuteronomy. So this is something that we know that God does not agree with. whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So after Shechem raped Dinah, he weirdly falls in love with her. Because of that, he starts to whisper sweet nothings to her. I mean, it said tender words in mine.
Yeah.
And then he goes to his father, Hamor, and basically demands him to make Dinah his wife.
So what did you get from this? Because I'm not going to say I got anything super insightful, but I did get that Shechem might be very spoiled.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. So his personality is very much, he has never had to be denied of anything.
Yeah.
Here, right? Like the fact that he saw her, just took her, and in his mind, right after that, I want to marry her. That to me there's a disconnect between reality and kind of his way of thinking, which is, and we know, right, it says he was the prince. So to me, Shechem probably got whatever he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I asked that question is because what it took me back to was Abraham and Isaac when they would go into Abimelech and say, this is my sister, because they didn't want to be killed. To me, I think what we're seeing is people really are dangerous when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And there are people in these towns who have enough power, or in these cities, who can just take your wife and will kill you, right, if they like your wife. Now, in this case, he obviously didn't do any of that to Jacob and the brothers, but that they also weren't her husband. So if he's willing to do that, what I'm saying is if she was already married, I wouldn't put it past him to kill their wife. I mean, her husband.
Yeah, when I was looking at his personality, I was just like, he's very arrogant.
Yeah.
Just like even with, and we'll get there, but just like you said, anything he wants, he gets it, right? And his dad enables his behavior here.
Yeah, this is a spare the rod.
Oh.
I can't remember the description, but don't spare the rod. Spare the rod, spare the child. That's what it says.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if that's what that's actually about, but I know a lot of people use it to whoop their kids.
Yeah.
And he needed to whoop it. That's my point.
He did, but I think, Hamor probably was doing the same thing too.
Yeah. No. This is, to me, this is what you get when you have generations of people and just that much power.
Right.
I'm pretty sure some of this still happens today.
Yeah.
Around the world, for sure.
For sure. So Jacob learns about the rape pretty quickly. I don't know if Dinah came back and told him, or if a servant found out about it, saw it, and came and told Jacob. I'm not sure how he found out because it didn't say how, but he did found out about it, but decided to say nothing. He wanted to wait until his sons came back from the field because they were herding his livestock at the time.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, well, we know Jacob is very calculated here, so maybe he wanted to wait until his sons were there so they can probably discuss it as a family. Like, okay, what are the next steps here? So they can collectively come up with a decision.
Yeah.
Or he probably was like, I need some time to think this thing through, to come up with a plan here.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, it could have been.
Because I did see culturally that was actually the norm for the men of the home to make decisions on these things. And we have some reference to that with Laban.
Yeah.
Right? Where even though I can't remember their parents' name.
Yeah.
But Laban,
I don't know if it was Nahor.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, but it was that line.
But even though his parents were there, Laban was kind of the one doing a lot of the talking, doing a lot. So one of the things I keep in mind is, remember, they may not be young boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we saw that Isaac he didn't even get married till he was 40, right? So they could actually be young adults at this point. And I think we kind of get some hint that they, at the very least, teenagers at this point, and maybe it's a way of passing knowledge down or passing wisdom down to your children.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I was getting from it. But yeah, back to what you were saying, he's waiting for his kids to come in from his sons to come in from the field to kind of have this discussion with them. Yeah.
Yes. And also he knows this is a prince of that land, right? He can't just go and address him. Even if he wanted to address him, he can't just go by himself. He would need his sons to back him up. So it could have been a little bit of all of it, honestly. And so it mentions that Shechem and his father, Hamor, decided that they were going to go and talk to Jacob. and they were going to be bold enough to talk to Jacob about this proposal of Dinah and Shechem getting married. I'm like, okay, Hamor is probably thinking like, okay, I'm the ruler of this land. For him to be bold enough to do something after your daughter just got raped, like, he's like, I'm the ruler of this land. You new here. You have no allies. You're kind of vulnerable in this moment.
You don't see it as much as Hamor and Shechem proposing a marriage as much as it's like they're muscling them into a marriage.
I do think they were trying to propose the marriage, but you have to remember, you are going in front of them and talking about a marriage after your son just raped and defiled your daughter here. Just based on how they went about it, they never even brought it up, they never even apologized. Like, it just seemed arrogant.
It seemed a little calculated to me too.
Oh yeah.
Because one thing I'm like, why would you, if you was gonna marry her, why would you rape her first? Like that. Well, unless you were trying to make sure she couldn't get married to no one else. Because to me, and I don't know for sure that this is the case, but I know in a lot of cultures back then, and I think we saw it with Leah, the Leah and Jacob, right? Where after Jacob slept with Leah, that was his wife, even though he didn't know he was marrying her. And it almost feels like, even though her, Jacob never gave off Dinah, so it never really seemed like marriage. But I don't know how easy it is going to be for her to get married, especially in that land, with everyone knowing that she had been defiled.
I don't think so, only because it mentions that after the rape happened, that's when he fell in love with her and then wanted to, just based on the sequence of how it played out.
Yeah, I can see
the
that.
Scripture. So
I can see that.
I think that he was it probably was a regular thing. Like, they probably just raped women, but he just happened to fall in love with her.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that, because in Sodom and Gomorrah, you saw something similar.
Yeah. But also, like, just to bring it back to Hamor, not only did he know, okay, yes, I'm the ruler of this land, and Jacob is kind of like in a vulnerable position here, but also he is seeing it as like this economic partnership, right? Like, he see that Jacob is wealthy here, right? So he see it as an opportunity to come up here.
Yeah, so it's beneficial, right? Shechem loves Dinah. I use that term very loosely, but he loves Dinah. And from Hamor's perspective, we're marrying into wealth. So we already have a kingdom, and now we can marry wealth into our kingdom. They already bought land here. Like I said, if you took the rape out of it, from Hamor's perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Right? For sure. He's thinking about the business side of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the news ended up reaching the brothers, right? Jacob's sons here, and they become very upset. And in the Bible, it says, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter. And the Hebrew word for a disgraceful thing is nabala, which we'll see throughout the Old Testament to describe something that's disgraceful in God's eye.
Yeah.
So another time that they use it, just to give an example, is in Deuteronomy 22:21, where Moses was relaying a message from God. It was about sexual immorality here, specifically a promiscuous woman living under her father's home or her parents' home still. He called it a disgraceful thing in Israel. So this rape situation is not only viewed as a disgrace to Dinah, but also to Jacob and his family, as well as God.
Right.
Right.
So one of the things to remember, too, is you're looking at two completely different cultures. Because they're living in a land with people who do not believe in the same God.
Right.
And I think that's... So when I read that, the fact that they specifically call in Israel, which we never really hear them up to this point, outside of God naming Jacob Israel, they've only
also remember they named that land Shechem, Elo.
Oh yeah, Israel. Elohim, Israel. Yeah. So they named that Israel, but outside of that, we haven't seen the term Israel so much. They still been calling him Jacob, right? And the reason I say that is because, to your point, it shows that there is a difference even in culture. So what they're saying, they're grieved because this is a disgrace to our God, to our entire way of being, which makes sense why they asked for what they asked for. You know, we saw it a little bit with Sodom and Gomorrah. Mm-hmm. What God really thinks of sexual immorality. Yeah. You know, like rape is obviously not good, but we see that is also not good in God's eyes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is happening here. That is happening here. Just in that one verse, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Hamor and Shechem, they finally arrived to talk to Jacob and his sons to negotiate for Dinah to marry Shechem. And he says, my son is truly in love with your daughter. And I was like, sir, that's lust. That's lust. And we even see this in 1 John 2:16. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. So that's not of God.
Yeah.
This whole situation right now is not of God. But what is love? We see this in 1 Corinthians where it says that love is patient. He raped her. Yeah. He raped her. Yeah. He didn't even get her consent here, right? He couldn't even wait until he married her.
Yeah.
Right? It says love is kind. He literally took her innocence. He brought trauma, and we know rape is going to bring trauma, physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional trauma. He brought trauma to Dinah and shame to her as well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then also it says it does not dishonor others. He violated her and brought dishonor to her, her family, and God. And it also says it's not self-seeking, but we know he's self-seeking because down from the rape all the way to the marriage that he's seeking, it is all about his self-gratification here. Yeah. Not about what she wants or anything else, but what he wants. He desperately wants this.
Where is this again?
1 Corinthians 13, 4-7.
Okay.
I mean, 4-7.
So, okay.
What is love? Love is.
Yeah. I just, I'm listening. I thought it was important. I just thought it should be repeated where it was so that people may be able to look for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I could see, if someone's looking for love, I mean,
these are the things.
That's the things you should be looking for.
Exactly.
That's the characteristics you should be looking for. So
Hamor just sitting there lying in their face, straight up lying, not on purpose. But he probably think it's love, which a lot of people may think toxicity is love, but it's not. The Bible is very clear of exactly what love is.
Yeah.
It doesn't really say whether or not if he knew that Jacob and his brothers knew about the rape. It doesn't really talk about it. He doesn't even bring it up, honestly.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know what? I never thought about that. Mm-hmm. In my mind, they both knew. But now that you're saying that, it never actually even said that Shechem told Hamor.
No, that's true. No, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that either.
So I don't know if Hamor even is walking in with the entire information.
True.
He may be just as deceived.
That is true. I didn't catch that one either.
Yeah.
I was really thinking Hamor did know, but I wasn't sure if he knew, if Jacob knew.
Yeah, right.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, like as you were talking about, because I literally, when I was reading it, in my mind, they both knew and they just were really just bold. Mm-hmm. Right? But it could very well be where Shechem did this thing, fell in love, and then just went to Hamor.
But I don't see how he would not know if Jacob found out.
Well, we don't know how Jacob found out. And it could have very well been God. Dinah. Or Dinah. So Dinah knew, and also it could have very well been the Holy Spirit. Like we don't really, they don't tell us.
I don't know if the Holy Spirit is
existent at this point, but
I mean it is, but not.
Yeah. We don't know if it's talking to people yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're not sure, but
no, I don't know.
I guess.
But if he did know,
so that does affect the story a little bit, just to see how bold Hamor was with it.
Yes.
Because if he knew.
He had no remorse. But if he didn't know, then it
just was a financial move for him.
Yeah, he's just like,
nobody ever
want to marry her? Cool, yeah. Like this man got money.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. It sounds like a good decision to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So he probably didn't know, honestly. Now that you have brought that up. So Hamor, his main focus is y'all can buy property, we can trade. In a marry, like that is his main focus. Like, how can we make this a fruitful situation for us all? But really me.
Yeah. To me, he was trying to get the arrangement that kind of Rebecca's family and Abraham's family had, which was kind of like this intermarry. We kind of, you take my flock, you grow my flock. He was trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And he not the first, right? I mean, no one else took it as far as marriage, but you had Abimelech. Hey, let's be friends. God got your back. Let me come on. We could be cool. You can stay here. You can stay on our, on our land. So I mean, I think everyone just sees how blessed they are, and so people see it, right? It's very apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, God just proving His glory,
and God knows it. That's why He was very strict.
Yeah.
No Canaanites.
Cause they wild.
No Canaanites. So Shechem wanted to bring the focus back to Dinah. And he's like, please be kind to me. Name the bride price. I will pay whatever for her. And you got to be careful what you ask for. Because boy, did he have to pay the price. Okay? Absolutely. But he's like, just give me the girl. Just give me the girl. Just wow. But just give me the girl as my wife. So for whatever reason, Jacob is still silent. And this part kind of blew me a little bit because I understood before. I was like, okay, he's just trying to gather his thoughts. He's probably thinking of a plan, X, Y, and Z. But now he is just silent and letting his sons take over. For me, I was like, okay, he's being passive here. And this is not the only time we're seeing him being passive. He was passive for the past 20 years with Laban, and he didn't say anything. He just let Laban run over him until after the fact. And then even when it was time for him to leave Laban, he couldn't even face Laban to say, Laban, hey, I'm out of here.
Yep.
He had to secretly leave. So he has a problem with confrontation.
Yeah.
And even with the whole passive thing, we are seeing a repetitive behavior here with this, right? We saw it with Abraham, with Sarah and Hagar, and we saw how that played out, right? Not too great. Then also Isaac. His whole house was divided because he was so passive in the situation and allowed favoritism to be a thing in his household. And not only that, he allowed Esau to marry 2 Canaanite women and said absolutely nothing. And Esau didn't know. He had to find out, right? So it's just like we're seeing this repetitive thing that's happening and it never ends well.
I 100% agree. And I thought it was weird as well that I see the brothers speaking and not Jacob. I think to me, based on what was revealed later, I kind of understand what was going on. I think, like you said, Jacob was passive. I think he also was scared. Right? So you put yourself in his shoes and what actually happened is, to me, this is a very close to what we saw with Abraham and Isaac. And I still believe that with Abraham and Sarah, and was it Isaac who wife with Abimelech? Yeah, and Rebecca, right? To me, it's very similar, except they had already took the wife. So now the daughter, sorry. So now what I'm thinking is happening with Jacob is a situation of, okay.
It's that fear.
It's the fear. Like, if I do one thing, they could kill me. How do I get myself out of this? I know she's not supposed to marry them. I know this. But I don't know how to get out of this.
So why are you letting your sons take over this conversation? You know what I'm saying? Just like as the leader of the home.
I think sometimes you have the high expectations after you see them do so well. So like when you like, okay, he on the right track.
He got it.
And then you see the backslide and it's like I get it. Because I was like, why isn't Jacob speaking? But I did read, so I have a study Bible, and it did say that, as was customary in their culture, Jacob's sons took an active part in approving their sister's marriage. I think that's just
like Laban did, I guess.
Laban did. So I think it's just the customary. So maybe Jacob did have words, because it didn't specifically say he was silent here. But maybe they came and said yes. Maybe they overruled him.
It don't have to say he was silent. We know he was silent.
Fair enough.
We know it.
Well, whatever. Even if he said something, he wasn't loud enough. We know that.
He wasn't loud enough for me. I'm so sorry. As a father. Your daughter just got raped, and the rapist is standing in front of you.
He's like, man, I just bought this land.
I know. It's probably a bunch of thoughts going through his head.
Because, like, it's an age thing, too. Like, as people get older, they grow a little bit more fearful.
Yeah.
Right? Where the sons are like, they're in their prime age. They don't care. They're like, let's get to it, you know? But I think he's at a different stage. And to be fair, he's always been, you brought it up. He's always been like, it's not the way he does things. It's through conflict. It's just not. It's why.
Even with the blessing, he had to do it
he did it very sneakily. And I feel like.
Is it sneakily?
Sneakily, I said. But either way, he did it in a roundabout way, a clever way. He's clever.
Yeah.
But we don't know him to be direct at all. So that's.
So we just saw one moment, and that was just with God, where he was direct.
Yeah.
And
and Esau, I'll give him
3
because he didn't run away. He actually didn't run away from Esau.
That's true.
He actually waited. So but life is long. You win some, you lose
some. So because Shechem defiled their sister, Jacob's sons responded in a deceitful way, which goes back to your point when you were talking about the bloodline.
Yeah.
How it passed down.
I'm telling
certain characteristics here, right?
That dog on Rebecca.
Laban to Rachel.
Yep.
Rebecca to Jacob. Then now Jacob to Levi and Simeon here.
Yeah.
Right? We're literally just seeing it happen.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting, the brothers who it was. I don't know much about Simeon, but Levi, his descendants will go on to be the priests of Israel.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting that he's so involved in this and the deceit.
Yeah, I was shocked too. I was like, the priest?
I was like, Levi? I thought it'd be any of the other ones.
I know. But, I mean, these are her full brothers here.
No, absolutely. So, yeah.
They probably felt like, no, we
these are in there. So they got mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ain't even looking to that. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. So they ain't having it.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so they deceitfully said.
Yes. So they agreed for Shechem and Dinah to get married under one condition. All the men would have to be circumcised in order for them to agree to these terms.
Yeah.
And if not, then it would take Dinah and they would leave. Hamor and Shechem, they probably don't know too much about it. They probably like, oh, that's it. Oh, that's easy. And then we gained all of this?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's probably how they saying it, but.
Yeah, well, and they also, they don't have really any loyalty to any God, right? Like they're like, all right, we'll switch gods. That's how I seen it. It was like, because I believe when he told him, he said, we cannot do this to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised.
Yes.
Essentially saying we can't give, unless you agree to our God, at least is how I read it. We can't give our sister to you.
Right.
And that goes to show to me that these guys their loyalty was money, right? Well, everyone else's loyalty was money except Shechem.
He was stuck on Dinah.
All right, now this also, going back to what you were saying with the be careful who you marry statement, because it's in the line. This also showed me, though, these are Jacob kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, I was like, and not just Jacob, this is Leah kids, too. Because she played that game with the what they call them? The fertility.
What is it called? Man grapes.
Man grapes, yeah. Man grapes.
Or mandrakes. Mandrakes.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, she did that too. So I'm just saying, I'm like, yeah, that's their children. That's, hey, the apple don't fall from the tree for
not
sure.
At all. Not at all. And they thought of this plan quick too.
They came in from the field, was like, hey, we could do it this way. Yeah. And honestly, if it didn't say deceitfully in verse 13, I wouldn't have even known they was playing a game. They almost got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So together, Hamor and Shechem went back to the gate of their city. And this is where they would meet with the leaders. And Shechem is very well respected there. So they go and they give this proposal for them to intermarry with Jacob's family. He's like, hey, these are our friends. Let's intermarry. And basically he was telling them, we'll become much wealthier. Because he said all of their livestock and possessions will eventually be ours.
Yeah. They
never brought up, the Dinah situation, the rape. They didn't even bring up how desperately Shechem wanted to marry Dinah.
That's what I said. I'm not sure that Hamor even knew it. I mean, like, the more we read the story, a lot of the conversations and decisions are making a lot more sense if Hamor did not know.
Yeah.
Because I would assume if Hamor's the king, he's probably a little bit more wise or a little bit more experienced than Shechem. I don't know if he's stupid enough to do this, knowing.
I mean, it's a possibility, because if he was trying to, if you do rape her, marriage will kind of smooth things over.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's a possibility that he do know about it.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't get any. Yeah.
But I will say, in all of this, what we're seeing here is that this is being motivated by lust and greed. And this is why in Proverbs 15:27, it says, the greedy bring ruin to their household, but the one who hates bribes will live. And we'll see that play out later. So the men end up agreeing to getting the circumcision. So 3 days later, while their wounds were still sore, because we have to keep in mind, there was no pain management here, no real doctors here, no real...
They counting their money and their
procedures here. Yeah.
All we got to do is get to recovery.
Yeah, that's how they seeing it here.
Yeah.
And this circumcision is a very painful procedure here. And by day 2 to 3, the swelling is at its peak here. So we have to remember, these are adult men getting circumcisions here.
Yeah. It's
versus
not like babies.
Infants, right?
Yeah.
So with infants, their nerve endings aren't fully developed. Versus males, their nerve endings are fully developed. Yeah. So they're basically handicapped.
Painful, yeah.
They're basically handicapped at this moment.
Yeah,
they can't really move around as well as they were before in this right now between day 2 and 3 here.
Yeah.
And Simeon and Levi, knowing this information, they end up going into the town and slaughtering all of the men, including Shechem and Hamor here. And they take Dinah, and they take her back to the camp.
Not just Dinah either.
No. They take them back.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of the sons,
the rest of the
coming,
brothers.
and they see that all the men are slaughtered, and they go and plunder the city, taking all the livestock, all of the possessions, all of their money, and even the women and children as slaves.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I understand. The emotions here. However, they slaughter innocent people that had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. I can get if you wanted to get revenge on Shechem here, maybe even Hamor.
Yeah.
But the other men, they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And you taking these innocent women and children, why?
So this is what I would say. This is what I was talking about at the beginning, where there's a thin line between protection and vengeance. Because it made perfect sense to me why they killed all of them. Because if you don't kill all of them, you can't just go in there and kill 2 men.
Yeah, I know. They would have got revenge.
They for sure would have got revenge. So like Jacob is worried that they may team up, right? And seek vengeance on them. But for sure,
later.
When he finds out. Yeah. But I'm saying, but for sure they would have took vengeance had they not killed all the men.
And that's understandable. Yeah. I was just saying, I get it.
Yeah, and I think the same for the women and children, though. Because if you leave the women and children, remember, they're surrounded by enemies, or not enemies, but surrounded by other people who have closer bonds than they do. So I think the idea is if we leave the women and children here, they can go tell the other tribe.
But look at all these things that had to happen just based on one decision here.
Yeah.
I understand like the emotions that are involved in here. However, none of them consulted with God to say like, hey,
I have that.
Should we go to war? Should we walk away in peace? Like, what should we do next? Like we saw before, God was silent this whole entire time.
Yep.
And I think it was on purpose. But I feel like if they did consult with God, I do feel like he would have told them, like you said, vengeance is mine.
Yeah, I actually have that written down. Romans 12:19.
Exactly. And I will repay. God already told Abraham that his descendants will inherit this land, the land of Hivites, and in other lands as well, in the land of Canaan. And Shechem is a city that we know is a part of that.
Yeah.
It was already a part of God's plan to drive these people out of there, but in his timing and in his way. When God had spoke to Moses in Mount Sinai later, he was telling Moses what to tell the Israelites of what would happen before they enter into the promised land. Mm-hmm. And he said, my angel will go ahead of you, bring you into the land of Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites. I don't know if it's Jebusites.
They're here too. Oh, no, yeah. Sorry, that's Perizzites.
Yeah, Perizzites is included. And he says, and I will wipe them out.
Yeah.
God said he was going to wipe them out. Not y'all, but he was.
That was when he was talking to Moses.
When he was talking to Moses.
Okay, so that hasn't come up yet.
This hasn't come up yet. Yeah. I'm just saying, if he would have spoke to them, I'm pretty sure he would have told them, vengeance is mine.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
if they would have even prayed to him.
If they would have prayed to him, if they would have consulted him, he probably would have said, hey, go to Bethel.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't tell you come here anyway.
I will deal with them later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, may not be when you want it, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they don't have the right to be angry, because they definitely do. But the fact that they held on to that anger, it literally allowed them to play into the enemy's hand here. And that's why we see in Ephesians 4:26-7, it says, and don't sin by letting your anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry, for your anger gives a foothold to the devil. And in Proverbs, it even considered these actions foolish and displeasing to God.
Yeah. Now, once again, just shooting some bell. Mm-hmm. This happens before all of that.
And that's understandable.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I want to, because that's one of the things I have to keep reminding myself.
But that's why I went to my point was, if they would have consulted God.
Yeah. So it shows that there's still, we never really got a sense of the brothers of Dinah, because we don't know yet. But Jacob should know better, right? So when I look
that's why I said this could have been avoided if he would have just spoke up.
If he was more active, and if he would have prayed. There's a few things he could have done, right? Mm-hmm. Jacob, when he found out, let's say he was pretty much still, but maybe he should not have been still. Maybe he should have been consulting with God at that time.
Yes.
I 100% agree. And now you're looking at what I would consider tragedy at this point. Now, tragedy started at the beginning of this chapter with her getting married, raped. But now you have the next end of it where Simeon and Levi have a ton of blood on their hands, and now they pretty much just killed and robbed an entire group of people.
Yeah.
It seemed like tribe of people, honestly. So to me, we see the cost of passiveness.
Yes.
Once again, right?
Exactly.
Like it's very expensive.
Exactly.
You know, when I say expensive, I don't mean financially. I mean to the soul.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. Now that goes on Simeon and Levi, and also a little bit of Jacob. Yeah. Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So finally, Jacob enters the group chat. And he finds out about what happens, and he is pissed off.
Yeah.
And the only thing he could think about right now is, you have ruined my name.
Oh, man.
Completely ruined my name. Now, potentially the Canaanites and the Perizzites may join forces and wipe us out.
Yeah. That bothered me. The ruined my name bothered me.
Yeah.
It bothered me a lot, because to me, that I'm like, oh, that's why you were silent.
Yeah.
Right. So when I'm like, oh, you were really trying to figure out
how can I save face?
Yeah, how can I save face?
Yeah.
In this situation.
Yeah.
So, all right, I know he raped my daughter. I don't know what to do about it. How can I save face? But I also think it speaks to fear too, because I think a piece of it is the next line, right? Literally, he's afraid, all right, if I confront this directly, then you guys might just wipe me out and take my stuff anyway. Which, honestly, I think was part of the plan in one way or another. And I say that because when Hamor went back to his men, they kind of spoke as if they were going to have all, which makes me think that Jacob is probably not too far off from, they will kill us, right? So that's why I like this chapter, because it's so morally great.
Yeah.
Like with Simeon and Levi, okay, on one end, we know that vengeance is the Lord's. We know that. But on another end, the question is, if Jacob feels this way, then could this almost be protection too? Like I said, if you're going to do,
I think
if you're going to, yeah, well, you're talking about Jacob. I'm not talking about Jacob in this case. I'm talking about Simeon and Levi.
Okay.
So I'm saying from their perspective, yeah, if you're going to kill the king and the prince, you better kill everybody else.
No, I get it.
You know, and so now,
if you go that far, you gotta go. You gotta go.
You
all
gotta
the way
kill
in.
everybody.
What else
right?
can you possibly do?
Yeah,
I get it.
And then another thing I was thinking was, so you were sitting there and you heard Simeon and Levi say, oh, I don't know if it was just them, but you heard the brothers say, hey, we're going to allow the marriage. So that means you were okay with the marriage. And you didn't think, because if he didn't know that they were going to do that, then that means you were okay with the marriage?
Yeah.
For your face?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where I was just like, I was very disappointed in Jacob.
I definitely was disappointed.
I'm like, dude, we made so much progress.
I know.
Man. What are we doing?
What happened?
What are we doing,
What
man?
happened?
You just were shooting the fade with God.
Exactly.
To get your blessing, and now that you got the blessing, what you doing with it?
I don't know.
Now he do got a limp, so it might have took a little bit off of him.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But Levi and Simeon, they just as confused because they like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They probably thinking like, sir, you haven't said anything. You gave no guidance. You said absolutely nothing. All of a sudden, now you have everything to say and you mad.
Yeah.
And their biggest question was, so we supposed to allow our sister to be treated like some prostitute?
Yeah. Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah. No, I think, and man, this is such a tough one to me. Honestly, it is, I can't really see Jacob's side like that. But I'm saying the line between, yes, there's vengeance, but there's so much more at stake. And I think, just the fact that they talked about Israel and it being a disgrace to Israel, to me, their lens is not even just a selfish, emotional lens. I think they may be a little bit misguided, but I think their lens is still from the perspective of not just honor for my sister, but the honor of what we're doing here.
I think
I
think their situation was rooted in ego too, honestly. I think it was a little bit of ego.
That's true. I can see that.
This whole thing with God being silent, to me, it shows that no one had God in this situation. And that's why it was so much chaos here on both ends. Both ends. I feel like if someone would have called on God's name here, maybe it would have played out a little bit different. I think, not a maybe. I do believe it would have played out differently.
Absolutely.
Because maybe God would have told him straight up, you're not even supposed to be here. Why are you buying land?
You should be in Bethel. That's probably why God got quiet. God was like, bro, I told you to go home.
He told him to go home.
I ain't tell you stop in Shechem.
He told him to go
I ain't
Bethel.
tell you
Bethel ain't technically home either, to be fair. But
that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
true.
it wasn't straightforward. So I'm gonna give Jacob a little bit of grace, but maybe he should have been like, God, I need a little bit more clarity.
Yeah.
Exactly where are we talking here?
Yeah. But then,
is it okay to stay in Shechem? Is it okay to buy land here?
Yeah. He stopped consulting with God at this time for whatever reason. But I mean, which we saw, right? We saw with his dad, Isaac, right? It was the same thing with the blessing.
Yeah.
Right? So we're seeing that, there's always...
Yeah. I had high hopes because
progress.
I was like,
he
got to walk. He walked with God. I was really convinced this was a different Jacob. But even the Bible ain't convinced because they still referring to him as Jacob.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing I will say is Jacob never lets this rebuke go with Levi and Simeon because he holds on to this rebuke to his deathbed.
Does he? Is that
literally to his deathbed?
He
still rebukes them for this very incident that has happened.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. He did not let it go.
It's very interesting because I feel like this goes back to you blaming them when you should have done something. Like, we as people should lean on our elders for these type of moments. Like, this is the type of moment where you need an elder when something that's so gray. I don't know. That to me just it speaks to him. Just, I mean, we talked about it plenty of times, but he's just not standing in his role again, right? But this time his role should have been the wise elder.
It should have been the wise elder. It should have been the one consulting with God, because obviously,
he's the one who actually has the relationship with God. From what we can see, we don't know nothing about his kids having a relationship with God,
right?
Because ain't none of them pray. So
they don't. They respect God though.
They respect. They obviously believe in what's happening. They know what they're doing, but we don't have any evidence that they themselves has heard from God, or that they even have spoke to God at this point. So
another great chapter. I really did enjoy this one, even though it was it sucked for Dinah. I hate that she had to go through that, and just those innocent people had to be, well, I don't want to call them innocent because I don't really know what type of life they was living. To be fair, we know the
Canaanites is some wild
but
people.
I'm just saying they didn't have anything to do with this. Okay. Yeah. But I enjoyed this chapter.
I did too.
How about you? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is it was so real. It felt very real.
Yeah.
There was at no point where I felt like the decision was easy.
Yeah.
Right. Like I felt like either way, this is just a massive challenge. And it's very resembling to what we deal with. We run into these situations where we know what we should do, but then, like you said, we have things that like pride. We have things like ego. We have things like honor. We have things like, I would say a piece of it, they probably was looking at duty to their sister, right? Like we have to protect her, right? So when we have those things at play, we're not supposed to. But that's flesh just getting in the way of what God actually wants for us. So I think the biggest lesson
thing was flesh.
I think the biggest lesson from this entire thing is we need to consult with God.
Yes.
We need to be in constant consultation.
Yes, and I'm not gonna I get all the emotions that were felt here.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue here is we did not hear from God at all this whole chapter. Yep. Why? He was waiting for them.
Yeah. And it's also interesting because I love how you pointed out when God was talking to Moses. As far as I remember, it was God who actually gave them the promised land, as in he actually took out the Canaanites, not the actual Israelites. When God say vengeance is his, he mean it. Yeah. Like it's really his. And sometimes it's just hard for us to get out of our own way.
Yes, because when we're angry in that moment, we want the revenge. We have to see it. We have to experience it. We want to see that person hurt the way we are hurt, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what God is calling us to do when you're on this walk. He's like, no, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have laws here. Well, you'll reap what you sow.
Yeah.
I have laws. It'll work out the way it's supposed to work out. Let me handle that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I'm asking you to do is to forgive. So,
I know. Hey, look. This is This one was
it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm not gonna hold but that's the thing with this life. Like sometimes we have to make very tough decisions and that we don't want to do because that's our flesh here. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we got to deny it.
We have to deny our flesh and live in the spirit, because we're not living for this world like we said in the last episode. We're living for the next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
well, we thank y'all for joining us on what this was, chapter 34.
Yes, episode 23.
Episode 23, yep. Yes. So we thank y'all. If you like the content, please don't hesitate. Like it, share it, subscribe to the page.
Yes.
Like Tara said earlier, we're going from the beginning to the end, and we bring you into our literal first conversations about the chapter.
Yes, and again, we are not experts in this. We are not theologians or
no pastors. We're none of that.
No teacher. We are just normal people who just love God's word. We are just interested and want to read the Bible in its entirety to get the full context. So, we're open to learning. We're not going to get everything. You'll hear us say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know 1,000 times because we don't know.
And sometimes we find it out later.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes we just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate. If you know something, drop it in the comment section. Yeah. We want to hear it.
Absolutely.
We're okay with spoilers.
We are. I mean,
I know. I'm just.
It's no way to not spoil.
Yeah, not if you want to make the proper connection.
Exactly.
So, I mean, with that being said.
So next week we'll be reading Genesis 35. So if you would like, you can definitely read ahead so that you can...
So you'll be able to keep up.
So you'll be able to keep up with what we're talking about. And it doesn't sound like we're just talking and rambling here. So I guess we'll see you next week. Until next time.